The secrets in the cards, unknown playing card facts. Playing cards are everywhere. They are one of the most universal game tools around. They are used for everything from your grandma's cribbage party to dorm room drinking games. Then, of course, there is their strong gambling presence. There's no doubt about their prevalence in today's society, but few know their history. I have played poker with cards for many, many years. I never once thought about how cards came to be what they are. I never noticed the differences in illustrations on the face cards. I never contemplated if the cards had any historical significance. It turns out that a simple deck of cards has a rich history. There are meanings behind just about every aspect of them. Some of these are more of a historical fact, while others are speculation. One thing that is certain is that playing cards are still incredibly popular today. The U.S. playing card company remains the biggest manufacturer of playing cards in the entire world and sells more than 100 million decks of cards every year. Appearing in Europe around the 13th-14th centuries, the deck of cards today has become an extremely popular game in the world. But not everyone knows about the secrets behind each card. The Western deck includes 54 cards, of which 52 are usually K, Q, J, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, divided into 4 substances: spades, hearts, diamonds and clubs. The rest are 2 joker cards, also known as the shrew or clown. We call this the Western deck to avoid confusion about the origin as well as the characteristics, how to play compared to the Chinese deck or our deck, such as tam chrysanthemum, 4 colors, shrimp nest. So what is the origin of the Western deck? The world's first deck of cards appeared in China around the 9th century of the Tang dynasty, 618 to 907. They were made of paper and were popular among the nobility and royalty. This game was brought to his country by a Western merchant. It is noted that Europeans used the Western deck today since 1418. The king, queen or prince cards are printed and shaped very beautiful and expensive. Card patterns and gameplay also vary from country to country. Sometimes, they are used more for divination or magic than for entertainment. The 2 colors black and red represent day and night respectively. That is, the total value of the cards in a deck is 364, adding the joker hand is 365, representing 365 days in a year. The remaining joker card makes a possible total of 366, which is the number of days in a leap year. The 52 cards in a deck represent 52 weeks in a year. A deck of Western cards carries the meaning of a calendar year. Accordingly, 4 substances: spades, hearts, diamonds and clubs, correspond to 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The 13 types of cards represent the 13 phases of the moon, which can be understood as being used as a parallel lunar calendar. The decks are also used for the magical elements in divination. Another highly debated aspect of playing card interpretation is the meaning of the suits in the deck. There are many varying interpretations of what the 4 suits represent. The original suits were coins, said to signify wealth, cups, which signified love, and swords and sticks. Though the suits have changed, the representations remain the same. Wealth has changed to diamonds, cups to hearts, swords to spades, and sticks to clubs. Some of the common beliefs regarding the representation of suits in the deck are: the 4 suits represent 4 seasons. The 4 suits represent the social structure of society. Along the same lines as the social structure theory, is the representation of the 4 feudal classes. The 4 classes are believed to be represented by the suits of the deck. These classes are the military, aristocracy, the merchants, trade, the clergy, and the peasants, agriculture. Spades represents the sword, air, the power of breath and soul, embodies the man. In divination, it represents distance, not favorable. For example, the two spades signifies that you are hurt because you put too much trust in a person and are not rewarded. King of Spades, David, King of Israel from the Old Testament. Heart, they represent water, the power of the subconscious and the healing of diseases, embodying the woman. For example, the 9-heart piece in divination means luck, you have negative people or gods to help and protect you. King of Hearts, Charlemagne, King of France and the first Holy Roman Emperor, who lived from 747 to 814 AD. Diamonds. The substance of rock carries the meanings of shield, earth, strength, endurance and abundance, multifaceted. They also carry a symbol of wealth, because the shape reminds viewers of the roof tiles of Western merchants. King of Diamonds, Roman Caesar Augustus. Some sources say the King of Diamonds is Julius Caesar, not Augustus. Clubs. Represents the image of the magic wand, fire, will and universal transformation. For example, the aces mean the relationship of cause and effect, debt to each other, the repayment in life. In divination, the person who picks this piece means someone who has a lot of money, but not his own money, but other people's money or borrowed it. King of Clubs, Alexander the Great, King of Macedonia, who conquered a vast region and lived from 356 to 323 BCE. Joker, the Clown, the Shrunken, is a special card in the modern 54-card deck. Each deck usually has these two cards. Joker usually has one black and white card and one colorful card. The producers think that they make a shrunken piece just for the sake of humor. The effect of the Joker itself is not much. It is a free card, no rules of the game can be imposed. This card is popular in Germany, America, even here they are the highest trump card, even allowed to represent many different cards. In the tarot deck used in astrology, the Joker is compared to the Fool, an unnumbered card that can be all or nothing. The forward meaning is the beginning of life, innocence, spontaneity, and the opposite meaning is naivety to foolishness, recklessness. The Fool is compared to the Joker card, a guy with his head held high, his footsteps slowly leaving the cliff while facing the supernatural. Meanwhile, the 9 Diamonds has its own legend. For a long time, this card was called the Scourge of Scotland. Historians record that it was on the 9 Diamonds card that the Duke of Cumberland, 1721 to 1765, wrote the order to slaughter the wounded prisoners after the Battle of Culloden, 1976. Another theory about the darkness, obsession of the 9 Diamonds card, is that in a card game for the Queen of Scotland, Mrs. Marie proposed, 9 Diamonds is considered the trump card to look for and the people of Scotland love to play this card so much that many families are broke, and the number 9 Diamonds also means catastrophe. One-Eyed King. Fact, there is also a One-Eyed King, and he's not grabbing his weapon. The One-Eyed Jacks get all the attention. No one is paying attention to the One-Eyed King. They aren't actually one-eyed, of course. They are depicted in profile, looking squarely in their chosen direction, staring at their favorite feather or whatever that thing the Jack of Spades is holding. Seriously, what is that? While the other 3 kings are shown from the front, the King of Diamonds, also known as Caesar, is looking to the side. Also interesting to note is that where the other 3 kings have firm grips on their swords, Caesar's axe is behind him, clearly not in his open palm. An online casino said gamblers know that the king is not actually a king, but a god. In Norse mythology, Odin sacrificed his eye to learn the secret of the runes. His chosen weapon resembles Odin's spear, and he's not holding it like the other kings, he's using his godly powers so that the axe is ready to strike at the twitch of a finger. Depressed King. Fact, the Suicide King is not committing suicide. Seriously, who commits suicide by ramming a sword in their ear? Poor Charlemagne, aka Charles, allegedly. The knife may look firmly implanted in his head, but that's another case of bad printing. Our modern designs come from models produced in 1565 by Pierre Maréchal in Rouen, according to the IPCS. Originally, Charles was charging into action, his sword raised and ready to strike. However, a standard feature of those designs were how the crowns were drawn flush against the border. Because there wasn't a lot of space above the head, the sword arm got smooshed down, thus giving him today's painful portrayal.